The moment the door flew open and the stack of reports burst from his hands like startled birds, Mason Aldridge knew he had just made the biggest mistake of his life. His breath froze, his heart slammed painfully against his ribs, and for a split second the entire universe seemed to stop. Because standing there, mid-button, mid-breath, mid-shock, was Serafina Carter, the famously untouchable CEO of Carter Innovations, staring back at him with wide disbelief as sunlight spilled across her half-unbuttoned blouse. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories where unexpected moments reshape lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Bright Hearts. It truly helps us grow this community. Mason had never been the type to panic. But as he stumbled after the papers fluttering around him like chaotic snow, he could feel the life he had fought so hard to rebuild slipping through his fingers. Because people like Serafina Carter didn't tolerate mistakes, not in business, not in life, not ever. And definitely not this. Just 20 minutes earlier, he had been an exhausted single dad sneaking into the office early, hoping to deliver a project folder before rushing across town to drop off his daughter at school. The morning sun was still pale, painting the glass walls in soft blue light as he hurried toward the CEO's suite, praying she wasn't there yet. He had no assistant. He was only a junior analyst, but Serafina had personally requested his reports for the board meeting. And in Mason's world, you didn't say no to the woman who had built an empire from nothing. But fate never cared for perfect timing. When he pushed the door open without knocking, everything changed as he scrambled an apology. Too fast, too panicked, too jumbled to make sense, before backing out and nearly colliding with the doorframe. He could feel the heat flooding into his face, the shame simmering under his skin, and all he could think about was Ellie, his 9-year-old daughter depending on him. He couldn't lose this job. He couldn't risk their fragile stability. Not when life had already taken so much. For the rest of the day, guilt followed him like a shadow. His thoughts swirled through every terrible possibility. Disciplinary action, termination, humiliation in front of the entire department. He had worked here only 8 months, long enough to start feeling hope again, short enough that losing it would destroy him. But what Mason didn't know was that Serafina Carter was watching him more carefully than he realized. That afternoon, she called him to her office. Walking down the hallway felt like walking toward a firing squad. He rehearsed apologies in his mind, each more desperate than the last, until he pushed open the door and found Serafina, not cold, not furious, but unusually quiet, gazing out the floor-to-ceiling windows at the golden skyline. As he waited, heart thundering, she finally spoke. Her voice wasn't sharp or icy like the rumors said. It was soft, almost tired. "I've read your report, Mason." He braced himself. "It's excellent," she continued. "One of the best analyses I've seen this quarter." His confusion tangled with relief. Then she turned, and the sunlight framed her in warm edges, powerful, composed, but distinctly human. "This morning was unexpected," she said, lips twitching with the tiniest hint of humor. "But accidents happen. What matters is how people handle them. You were respectful." He exhaled for the first time in hours, but then she added, "There's more." Her eyes softened. "I know you come in early. I know you leave right at 5. And I know why." Mason stiffened. "I've noticed the drawings on your desk," she said gently. "The lunchbox. The schedule reminders." Her gaze steadied on him. "You're raising a daughter alone, aren't you?" His throat tightened. He hadn't expected his personal life to matter to anyone, especially not her. "She's the most important part of my life," he managed. "Everything I do is for her." Serafina nodded as though she understood something deeper than he'd said. "Then I want to give you an opportunity. Something bigger than what you're doing now." The offer stunned him. To work directly under her, developing a new company initiative focused on community innovation. A chance to make real impact. And finally earn enough to give Ellie the life she deserved. That he accepted, still half convinced he had imagined the moment. Over the next weeks, Mason's world slowly transformed. Serafina became not just a boss, but an unexpected mentor. She challenged him, believed in him, pushed him to think differently. She started asking about Ellie, what she liked, what she feared, what made her laugh. Mason discovered that behind Serafina's iron-sharp exterior was a woman shaped by loneliness, by battles no one saw, by years of carrying a company on her back with no one to lean on. They spent long hours together in sunlit conference rooms, Ideas scattered across tables. Something delicate began to form. Not romance. Not yet. But trust. The kind that grows only between two people who understand struggle. One evening, after a long presentation rehearsal, Mason found himself opening up about the years after his wife passed, the nights he had worked 3 jobs, the mornings he had braided Ellie's hair with trembling fingers, the guilt he carried for every moment he had felt he wasn't enough. Serafina listened, really listened, her expression softening in ways he had never seen. "You're stronger than you realize," she said quietly. "Most people break under half that weight. But you kept going." Her words stayed with him long after he left. But success rarely comes without shadows. One morning, Mason arrived to find whispers spreading through the office. Rumors, accusations, envy. Some insisted he was getting special treatment. Others suggested something inappropriate between him and the CEO. The more successful he became, the deeper the jealousy of others dug into him. He tried to ignore it, but gossip has a way of poisoning everything. The breaking point came when he overheard 2 executives implying that Serafina's decision to promote him wasn't based on merit, that she was emotionally compromised. It shattered him. He went to Serafina's office, ready to step down, to protect her reputation and the company she had built. But when she saw the look in his eyes, she immediately understood. Before he could speak, she walked toward him with a calm intensity. "You are not resigning," she said firmly. "I chose you because you are the best. Let people talk. Their words don't define either of us." Her certainty was a warm anchor in a cold storm. And when the new initiative officially launched, receiving overwhelming praise, both externally and within the board, those rumors died faster than they had started. But what truly changed everything wasn't the success, the meetings, or the recognition that IT was Ellie. One Friday afternoon, during a Take Your Child to Work day Mason had nearly forgotten about, Serafina unexpectedly joined them. Ellie, shy at first, quickly opened up when Serafina complimented her rainbow hair clip. The girl giggled, showing Serafina her drawings, each messy and bright with childlike imagination. And for the first time since Mason had known her, Serafina laughed. A real, unguarded, heartwarming laugh that filled the room like sunlight. As they walked out together, Serafina whispered to Mason, "She's wonderful. You've done so well." The words nearly brought tears to his eyes. From that day on, the 3 of them formed something unexpected. Serafina would occasionally join them for lunch, or bring Ellie small gifts like books or sketch pads. Mason saw something in her, a longing she never voiced, a gentleness she never showed the world. And Serafina, in turn, saw not just a hard-working employee, but a man whose love for his daughter made him extraordinary. Months passed, each one weaving their lives a little closer together. On a warm, golden afternoon, after a successful quarterly meeting, Mason found himself standing beside Serafina in the rooftop garden, quiet, peaceful, overlooking the city that glowed under the late sun. The soft breeze lifted her hair, and for the first time, he felt brave enough to say what had been growing quietly inside him. "I never expected any of this," he said. "The job, the second chance, you." Serafina looked at him with that rare softness. "Sometimes the unexpected things," she whispered, "are the ones that save us." And as the sunlight wrapped them in amber warmth, Mason realized that the moment he feared would destroy everything, the accidental door, the falling papers, the shock in her eyes, had instead rewritten his entire life. Because sometimes destiny doesn't arrive gently. Sometimes it storms into the room, uninvited, unplanned, and changes everything forever. If this story touched your heart even a little, please support Bright Hearts by liking, subscribing, sharing, and leaving a comment. Your engagement truly helps us continue creating stories filled with warmth and hope.